What's up, everyone out there in YouTube world, Facebook world, social media world, the world, wherever you're watching this from today? Welcome to another episode of Music with MGL. I'm your host, as always, MGL. Now, we're going to get right into it today. Today's topic is an example of what I like to say, F around and find out. So, some of you may know or may not know, I live here in Florida. Obviously, I'm a defense lawyer in Florida, do Second Amendment stuff, et cetera, et cetera. And there's an article or an issue that came out recently of a couple of guys that just got sentenced to 5 years in prison. And the guy who made the item that got them sentenced to 5 years in prison is from Florida. So that's why it's a little interesting to me. And it's also related to the Second Amendment because it has to do with something revolving fully automatics and YouTubers, which is also, of course, another thing that I do. So I'm going to get right into it here. So there's a YouTuber and another manufacturer recently who just got 5 years in prison each for manufacturing a product that converts semi-automatic firearms, basically AR-15s, into fully automatic firearms. So I'm going to roll through it here just to give you a little bit of background, and we'll go from there. Orange Park man, YouTuber, sentenced to 5 years each in prison for selling device that turns semi-automatic rifles into machine guns. An Orange Park man and YouTuber were sentenced to 5 years in federal prison Friday for transferring and conspiring to transfer unregistered machine conversion devices, according to a press release. One of them was this guy who lived in Orange Park, and the other one is a YouTuber who lives in Wisconsin. They were convicted at a trial, and then they were sentenced recently by a judge to one guy got 5 years. I think another guy got 5 years and an additional 18 months, and then there's a $68,000 fine because one guy was taking all of his money to use for it. So in February 2021, federal agents from ATF and the U.S. Postal Inspection Service observed Evan dropping off dozens of packages as an Orange Park post office. Each was determined to contain unregistered machine guns. This top part here is the history of it, okay? Before the two men were found guilty by a federal jury in April, court documents indicate that in January of 2021, Irvin's bank contacted the ATF to report that employees believed he was trafficking machine gun devices. An investigation that followed the move revealed that Evan ran an online business selling machine gun conversion devices known as lightning links into metal cards, which he referred to as auto key cards. He distributed the auto key cards or displayed them as pen holder, a novelty, and political sculptures, etc., etc. So they were examining the key cards, and a firearm enforcement officer was able to remove the pieces of a lightning link from a card using a common rotary tool in about 40 minutes. When the officer placed the two pieces of lightning into an AR-15, it converted the semi-automatic firearm into a fully automatic firearm, which is a machine gun. The YouTube personality Hoover operated a YouTube channel called CRS Firearms where he advertised the auto key cards, and the channel has garnered 183,000 subscribers. Oh, it would be nice if I can get to 183,000 subscribers, but I'm not going to do it by selling illegal conversion kits. He stated that his viewers could cut out the auto key card, drop it in your receiver, scratch your full auto itch, throw it, you're done, and no one is the wiser. So what was happening was, I believe there's a picture down here. Crying people. No, it's not on this one. Anyway, if you do any Google search, I don't necessarily want to put it here anyway because then you'll know what they look like. But essentially, they were selling these little cards that you could cut out parts of and ended up using them for conversion kits. So it was a little key card about the same size as like any other key card. And it was metal, and it had grooves in it and parts that you could basically take a rotor to and cut out. And when you cut those pieces out, you could drop them into a AR-15 semi-auto, and it would convert it to a full auto. And this guy was selling those key cards, and he was claiming that they were novelty or pen holders or whatever, but he was basically telling people what you could do with them. And then he got in league with this YouTuber guy who was essentially selling them on his YouTube channel. He was promoting them, telling people where they could buy them, and the guy was paying him an advertising fee, et cetera, et cetera. So the one guy was making them, the other guy was advertising, and together they sold thousands of these key cards that they shipped to people in the mail, and people could cut the parts out and convert them into machine guns, basically. So they were caught by the ATF. The ATF charged them with selling of machine guns because the machine gun definition in the federal statute includes basically parts that can also convert it to a fully automatic machine gun. So they basically charged them with selling these key cards that could convert these things into machine guns. They got convicted by a jury. They got sentenced, and they got up to 5 years in prison. So when I say F around and find out, I can't tell you how many times on YouTube or just in regular conversation somebody will say, look, this is what the law is. You can't carry here, or you can't possess this type of thing, or whatever. And people will go, oh, bending over for the man, huh? Oh, why are you giving up your rights? Or, oh, well, if they don't know, they don't know. Concealed means concealed. And it's basically people saying, I don't disagree with the law because they're unconstitutional, so I'm just going to do whatever I want because I'm a big, strong man who likes to fight for my rights. Great. Good for you. I fully support your desire to do that if that's what you want to do. However, if you do that, you could end up in 5 years in prison. And if somebody's willing, if you're willing to do that, if you're willing to risk 5 years in prison to prove a point, go for it. Again, it's just more money for defense attorneys if you do that. So I'm all for that. Obviously, I don't advise anybody break the law. The law is what the law is, whether you like it or not. There are ways to fix that. You can do it through legislation, through election, through lobbying, et cetera, et cetera. But the fact of the matter is, if the law is what the law is, and you want to skirt that law because you're trying to prove a point, then you could end up in 5 years in prison. I don't think you should get that. Again, I'm one of these constitutional absolutists who believes that no firearm law is constitutional because shall not infringe has a period on it. So I don't think it's unconstitutional. It should be illegal for these guys to sell these things. Everybody should be allowed to own fully automatics if they want to, whatever the hell you want. That's what the Second Amendment is for. But unfortunately, I don't know what color the sky is on your planet, but here on planet Earth, it's blue. And so you have to deal with reality sometimes. And so if people want to do that kind of stuff, they're going to F around, and then you're going to find out, especially if you have currently a very anti-Second Amendment administration who is going to go after everybody who does any sort of thing other than Hunter Biden, apparently. But other than that, they're going to go after anybody who does any sort of thing with a firearm because they're really cracking down on them. And this is the exact type of thing they want to crack down on, to say, look, these, quote, law-abiding gun owners are out there breaking the law, selling these things. They're trying to use trickeration and be funny, ha-ha, that it's a novelty thing or whatever, and they're not going to tolerate it, so you're going to go to prison. So if you want to be one of those people that says, so what? The law says I can't carry a firearm on school property. That's unconstitutional, and what they don't know, so I'm going to do it anyway. Again, good for you. Make sure you have a good attorney on standby. I would advise you to get the insurance, but insurance isn't going to pay you for something like that because they're going to say it was your own fault. So make sure you have a good attorney on standby, because if you want to F around by trying to prove your political point, then you're going to end up finding out, and you could end up like these guys and having 5 years prison. So I want to fight for our rights every chance that we get. There's a correct way to do it to make sure that you don't end up in prison for 5 years. I don't know about you, but I don't intend on ending up in prison for 5 years just to prove a point by trying to be cute and trickery and selling things on YouTube. So that's my rant for today. These guys are going to be in for a long haul, and I think that they might be regretting doing that now, looking back on it on the backside. So if you did buy one of these things from these people, they're basically sending letters to everybody who they can prove received one of these, telling them they better turn it in to the ATF right away, or you yourself could end up getting charged as well. So just kind of keep those things in mind. If you want to F around, then you might actually find out. So thanks for watching as always. Please like, share, and subscribe down below. Spread the word. Comment if you have any questions. If you want to tell me I'm full of crap and you want to be one of those people, please do. I'll be happy to take whatever comments can come in. So thanks for watching. Until next time, stay Stay safe, stay vigilant, stay healthy, whatever. You know my phrase, and carry on.